What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It is week 3 of April, and so far I've withdrawn $12,000 from my live account and $2,000 from a prop firm funded account. So let me go into the differences between those two. Live money, if you don't know, basically you're not restricted by the restrictions that a prop firm are, and you're basically what you are restricted by is the amount of capital that you put into the account. So if you're trying to trade with, say, $2,000, that's all you have to trade with. Versus prop firms, you're basically buying an account that has more money than you can afford to put into an account. So you can pay $500 and receive a 100K account. This account doesn't come for free. You have to pass the evaluation stage. The evaluation stage can take you anywhere from like 6 days to a month or 3 months to pass. And a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to pass these accounts, and they honestly get into their own heads. I myself was one of these people that purely traded prop firm accounts. So I would spend a while first of all trying to pass the accounts, trying to maintain them, and waiting for my payout date. That's one of the things. On prop firms, I was only able to withdraw once per week, and I never even thought about trading live capital, because live capital, simply I didn't have enough money to drop into a live account and trade. And I never thought about the idea of flipping a smaller account into a larger amount of money. So that's the change that kind of flipped the switch for me and allowed me to make a lot more money than I normally do, because I went from prop firm to live account this week. Because I went from prop firm to a live account this month, and it definitely changed the game for me. And I don't honestly think that I would want to go back to prop firms after discovering what I could do with a smaller amount of money. So previously, I have tried live accounts, but it never worked for me because honestly, my skill set just wasn't there yet. My psychology was wrong, and I would honestly take the wrong trades. If you take too much of the wrong trades when you're over leveraging, you're obviously going to lose the account like this. So something that was different was that I obviously mastered my risk management. And when I was going into a smaller account, I knew that I had to use less risk until I got to a specific threshold. I withdrew some money and then was able to start fresh, not really worrying about blowing the account because I withdrew some money and I could just easily toss that money back into the account. So that's what I did. And starting off from early this month, I flipped a $100 account to $3,000. I withdrew $2,000 and I was already just shocked. I left $1,000 in the account and I honestly blew that $1,000. I think I got another 1,500 payout from that 1,000, where I was just withdrawing 500, 899, and that was 1,500 that I withdrew from the 1,000 before I blew it. So I was already up maybe 4,000 in the first week, and that was already shocking to me. And I was like, dang, I actually just cooked. I made double what I made on this 100K prop firm account, and I was able to withdraw it like this instantly because there was no restrictions, and I was just so shocked. And that's the reason also why I blew it, because I was honestly very emotional about it. I was proud of what I did, and therefore I was like, let me do it again. I'm gonna hop into the market. And I was excited to trade again. I was excited to do it again. And that excitement didn't lead me very far because I ended up trading on a day that I shouldn't have. There was no news, there was not much volatility, the market was moving sideways, and I ended up getting chopped out on this because I would buy, it's going down, I see some bearish price action, I'm going to turn around and sell. And I just ended up losing the entire account like that. But at that point, I had deposited basically $98 and withdrew around $4,000 from the account in the first week of this month. So I was already up, and I was just psychologically, I was already it clicked. I'm going to do live accounts. I'm going to start now. I'm going to drop 500 into the account, see what I can do with it. And it's been week 3, and I've already withdrawn $12,000 from this account. So I'm already just very grateful that I was able to make that switch, and I'm excited to see what I can do with it. And as for what trades that I took, I'm going to hop into that right now. But yeah, one of the main things that's different for me is being able to start from zero. One of the biggest mistakes that I kept making on prop firm accounts, no matter how much times I've gotten them funded. Getting funded was really easy for me, honestly. I would go 1 to 2 lots, give myself a lot of room, and swing trade it. And I'd literally pass it within the minimum trading days. I'd pass it in a single day and wait. I'd have to put 0.01 trades so that I can actually finish the objective. So I was able to do those really easily. The hard part for me was once I already had a payout, 3,000 or 2,000, the hard part for me was waiting until my payout date because I wanted to add more to the position. But one of the things that I did very incorrect was once I lost money, I tried to make back the money that I lost in order to get the payout that I would have had. So say I was up 3,000, right? And that payout would have been around 2,000 with my split. So, oh, another thing. Live accounts don't have a split. Whatever I make is mine, and it goes directly to me. That's another big difference, right? Like on the prop firms, I'm like up 3,000, and I'm just like content with it. But then I realize I'm not really getting 3,000. I'm getting like 1,800 or 900, and that's honestly a big difference. That's a big cut out of what you thought you would have made, and that goes into a lot of like prop firms. Like you bought the account for 500, so really, are you profiting that much if you only make 1,000 or like 2,000, right? You're only profiting 1,500, and it took you a week. That's like not even, that's regular income. So one of the things was like, being able to restart really made a big difference for me in trading, because when I'm able to withdraw the money that I make the same day or even after the trade right away, then I'm able to start fresh from a amount that I'm willing to risk. When I'm on a prop firm account and I have to wait a week and I want to trade again, then I'm basically messing around with money that I'm not willing to risk because I'm up in profit. So when I lose like even $300 of the payout that I would have had, I try to make that money back. And when I do that, I end up taking more trades and I lose more. And if I lose more, it gets to me even more. And I try to make back the money that I lost. And most of the times that I've tried to do this, I've blown the entire account. And this has happened a few times, like 3 or 4 times where I've had a 2,000 plus payout waiting, and I just simply started trading again, took a loss once I started trading again, over leveraged, or not even over leveraged, I just over traded. And I wanted to make the money back, so I didn't really have a threshold of when I stopped trading, and I ended up blowing the entire account. Daily loss or whatever, I just didn't track it, and I ended up getting into my own head and blowing the account. So this was a big difference for me, being able to withdraw the money, start fresh, and go into the market again with money that I was willing to basically lose. So I flipped like multiple times. I took a screenshot every time I did it, where I flipped $100 to 1,000, literally like 2 or 3 times after this, because I would like lose some money if I started from like 300 or 400. I'd lose some money trying to get into a good position. But basically gold has been going up like nonstop, and there were multiple instances where I would flip like 300. You can see on the top, even though it's inverted, $300 to 3,000, which is the second one is equity. So the first one is balance, the second one is equity. So basically I would be trading gold and I would just over leverage. That's one of the things. Like I'm trading with a low amount of money. I'm not going to be trading, like people tell me, they slid up on my Instagram story and they're like, dude, over leveraging isn't going to get you anywhere. Like, I know I'm over leveraging because I'm on a small account. I don't want to be trading and making like $1 or $2. Like sure, I can make $20, but $20 isn't going to change my life. I have to over leverage in order to flip the account to a larger amount that I can actually stay on. And right now I was just basically messing around with it. So I didn't care to over leverage and lose the money that I was willing to lose. So yeah, risk management is important. But I'm not in a state on my account that I want to be risk management, like using risk management on, because I wouldn't be making something that I would be content with. But honestly, I made a lot more than I thought I would on this account because I honestly didn't think that I'd be able to make that kind of money from $1,000. And it's also partly because of the broker that I was using, which gave me a large leverage. So basically, I was able to place the same lot size on a $1,000 account that I would be able to place on my 100K funded, which is crazy to think about. And I made a few videos on this on Instagram. It was just like kind of crazy. Like I was able to make the same amount on a $1,000 account that I would on a funded account, which would take me like a little while to pass. And it would also take me a long time to get my withdrawal from this prop firm. So being able to make the same amount of money, basically with like double the investment amount, but then withdraw instantly, that was already the game changer. Like that clicked. I'm not going to go back to prop firms because I can easily churn like $400, $500 into more than 1,000 and trade it the same way that 100K would. But I'm obviously not going to, like, I don't think that this is something that you can do consistently over the long run. Because you will end up losing most of the money, and it's not something that I want to do anyways. I don't want to build habits of over leveraging and over layering positions. But basically what I would do is I would get into a position somewhere down here from a higher time frame for rally gap, and as it starts running up, I look for lower time frame for rally gaps that turn into IFEGs, and I'd add more positions every time it like would move back down. It sometimes even took out my positions, and as it moved back up, I would add more. Because gold was moving up, I wasn't afraid of basically layering only buy side positions. And that's what I did, basically layering them in and just letting it run. And after it ran, like even $100 turned into 1,000 like this really easily, because it would run for hundreds, 200, 300 pips really easily. So that's why I was able to make that kind of money this month. And honestly, going forward, I'm going to probably try to scale the account to a larger amount without withdrawing, so that I can actually stay consistent on I'm thinking maybe like 40K. At like 40K, I can probably stay on that like level and start using prop firm risk management, where I basically have a threshold where I'm like, okay, 2% of 40K, I'm done for the day. And then I'm aiming for like 3, 4, 5%. And once I hit that, I'm done. I withdraw, I take a step back, and like honestly take a break. On that like amount of capital, I can actually use risk management. I can actually be content with how much I'm making, and I'm not going to over leverage the account. Once I withdraw enough, it's time to over leverage. It's time to flip the account again. Move on to the next stage. Because honestly, with live money, that's how it is. You basically, like, the reason why I was withdrawing instead of trying to go flip it to 20K or 40K right now is because I wanted to take more money out. Like, the money that I was making, 3K, 2K, like this, it was a lot of money to me. That's still a lot of money to me. So I'm going to withdraw that money and keep withdrawing it until I'm happy with how much money I've made, and then I'll go try to flip it to more. And then once I'm on more, I'm going to withdraw. Once I'm happy with how much I made, I'm then willing to risk that money again. So that's how it's been psychologically for me, and that's what I do in order to kind of prepare myself to flip, prepare myself to take pretty much bigger losses. Yeah, I was going to hop into the charts, but I do have to go, so I'm not going to do that in this video, and this video ended up just being like a kind of reflection on what I did. Gotta make a cool little thumbnail. Bible study time. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.